All right. So let's talk about grocery budget hacks. So I was inspired to create this training because this week we managed using a lot of these hacks to have basically a $0 grocery budget. Now we are probably going to have to buy maybe some snacks for our daughter and just some like basic staples. Like I think we ran out of chocolate milk this morning, right? But otherwise, for the week, we are hitting practically $0 with our grocery budget. So I wanted to share these hacks with you because I think it's important that we at least have an idea and have a realization that we can minimize our grocery budget. So the first thing I want to talk about is my favorite tools that help this kind of thing be possible. Now, these are basically things that you can buy up front, maybe invest in a little bit, depending on your situation, that will help you to be more successful at minimizing your weekly grocery budget. And so tools, the first one, my absolute favorite is our vacuum sealer. So we specifically have a Fresh Saver, but you can get any vacuum sealer. But I like the Fresh Saver vacuum sealer because you can get lots of different size bags. You can get pre-portioned or pre-cut size bags, or you can get the big rolls, but you can also get steamable bags and little Ziploc ones there's like a handheld vacuum seal thing for the Fresh Saver. So you get a Fresh Saver bag that you zip close and then you get a little handheld and suck the air out of it. And so, and then they have steamable bags that you can vacuum seal and then you just put them in the microwave and steam up whatever's inside. So all of these things really help you to save and preserve your leftovers that's all the things we're going to talk about. Having this vacuum sealer with all of the different attachments and stuff makes life so much easier and makes it way, way, way easier to minimize your grocery budget. So that's my first one, is a vacuum sealer with various different types of bags and things. The second one is I wrote freezer trays for leftovers. So there's a lot of different types of these, but I'm going to show you the kinds that we have. And they come in different sizes. So they come in 2-cup sizes. And it literally, you can see it actually says 2-cup on the inside. And it looks like it's written correctly to you because it's mirrored possibly. But when you put like soup or something in it, it actually like indents the 2-cup thing into the bottom of the frozen block. It's really cool. And so it also comes, this is a 2-cup size. It also comes in 1 cup and 2 tablespoons. I can't show you my 1-cup ones because they're all currently in use because we use this stuff. But I like the little 2 tablespoon size because you can make like sauces or things like that and freeze them. We've made like herb butter, stuff like that. And so you freeze your food in these trays and then you can get these on Amazon. And then you take the frozen block out of the tray and you vacuum seal it in a vacuum seal bag. And that food will keep for at least a year. Like, such a great tip. And I'm going to talk about this. This is like at the end, we're going to talk about why freezing food is so important. So that's my second tool. And then the other ones are a little bit bigger investments, but it's just ways that you can then do some of these other things that I'm talking about. One is a meat grinder. Have your own meat grinder. One is a pressure canner if you like to can food. And the other one is a deep freezer. Because again, the more food you can freeze, the more food you can have, and you can have a $0 week. So that's my big one, is think about the tools that you have that will help you to minimize what you have to spend on groceries later, because you have these tools. You've got food frozen, you've got things vacuum sealed, you've got things canned, you've got a deep freezer where you can keep all this stuff. So have tools in place to help you in the future. The second thing is buy in bulk whenever possible. So again, this is kind of a little bit of an upfront investment type situation. So this might not be where you are, but these other tips will help you as well. But if you can buy things in bulk, do, and freeze it. So meat, we get our meat from either a butcher or like a restaurant supply store where you can buy like an entire side of a chuck roll, or you can buy 10 pounds of pasta. There's a lot of things you can do. So meat, we buy our meat in bulk and we cut it into steaks ourselves, or we grind it ourselves. We have something ridiculous like 19 pounds of ground beef in the freezer right now. So buy meat in bulk. You can buy veggies in bulk and then vacuum seal them in portions. And again, those steamable bags are so perfect for this. We literally just steamed up some Italian veggies last night that we had put in vacuum sealed steamer bags. Or you can pressure can. So again, if you have a pressure canner, if that's something you want to do, that food will keep for over a year. So buying those veggies in bulk and then being able to freeze or can them is going to help you in long run, because typically buying things in bulk is cheaper. Non-perishables, rice, pasta, etc., and then portion them out and vacuum seal them. Again, it just makes it last a little bit longer because you can buy things in bulk, and they're typically a little bit cheaper by the pound, cheaper by the ounce, cheaper by the volume, to buy things in bulk. And then also frozen meals. A lot of times you can get these deals where you can get like 10 frozen meals for $10. So you're getting a frozen meal for $1 a piece. Having frozen meals like frozen pizzas and frozen microwavable meals is really nice for the days where you're like, I don't feel like cooking. It's way cheaper budget wise to be able to throw a pizza in the oven or throw a meal in the microwave than it is to eat out or order in, especially if you have a day where you're like, I don't feel like cooking, right? So buying those in bulk ahead of time is really helpful. Now, here's where, so these are like tools and things you can do, a little bit more investment because it's about buying things up front. Now, moving after that, meal plan strategically. So people talk about meal planning, and a lot of times when people talk about meal planning, they're thinking about it from like a health standpoint. They're trying to be all healthy and fancy. I'm like, I don't want to be healthy and fancy. I want to be cheap. Sometimes I'm healthy and fancy, but most of the time I just want to be cheap. But when I talk about meal planning strategically, here's a couple of things you can do. Number one, inventory your freezer and or your pantry. What do you already have? I'm like, I don't know what happened to it. This is our meals that we ended up creating. But last night I took my little notepad and I went into the freezer and I was like, all right, we've got this, this, and this. And you don't necessarily need to know that there's 19 pounds of ground beef versus 15 pounds, right? You just need to know that you have access to ground beef, right? I have access to steak. I have access to, I think that there's like one little Cornish game hen in there. There's a couple of like 2-pound chuck roasts. There's some pork sausage. There's some chicken thighs, right? So like just inventory what you do have, because then you can look at it and go, okay, based on all of these things we already have, what meals can we create from what we already have? And again, if you've bought stuff in bulk and you've already pre-portioned things, you're going to have access to pre-portioned sides of vegetables, pre-portioned sides of pasta, right? I think we still have like 5 pounds of rotini spiral pasta vacuum sealed in our pantry that we can use. So inventory your pantry, your freezer, and just know what you have already, because then you can use that list to help create your meals. So a good example is we had bought zoodles, we had a big bag of meatballs, and we have jars of Prego. So tonight we're having zucchini noodles with meatballs and pasta sauce, because we already had it, right? Last night, we had this frozen meal of like stuffed salmon, and we had a packet of cilantro lime rice, like the 90-second microwavable kind. And we had some Italian veggies in a steamable bag. So that's what we had last night. So literally we created our meal plan based on things we already had, right? So that is actually how we created a $0 grocery budget this week. Is we used all of the food that we already had, things that we had already frozen, things that we had already pre-portioned, things we had already done what I've already talked about. And we used this inventory to create our meal plan for the week. And again, why we're at $0. A bonus of that is look at the ingredients you already have and make your own sauces. So one of the things we're making this week is barbecue chicken sliders. And rather than say, oh, we don't have barbecue sauce, let's put that on the grocery list, we actually went, wait a minute, let's look up a recipe for homemade barbecue sauce. And we have all of the ingredients for homemade barbecue sauce, because we have ketchup and we have mustard, like Dijon mustard, and we have brown sugar, we have honey, and we have seasonings in the pantry, like we have in the spice cabinet, right? So we're literally making our own barbecue sauce for the barbecue chicken sliders so that we don't have to go buy barbecue sauce, right? Making your own stuff based on the ingredients you have. So inventory your pantry, your freezer, your spice cabinet. And then the other thing is shop the sales. So I'm going to use the phrase shop the sales, but what do I mean? I mean, look at the weekly circulars of like the weekly deals that are going on at your grocery store. I mean, look at coupons that you have available to you, and be in a store rewards program. So I talk about this all the time because we have saved thousands and thousands of dollars between savings on our coupons and weekly deals with our grocery store, but also fuel points. We get lots of fuel points. Last Friday was a 5 times fuel points day. So we did a big grocery shop. We got some staples, we got some extra vegetables that we could freeze, and got 5 times fuel points. So we earned like 1,300 fuel points, which is $1.30 off of gas. So we ended up, on top of all of the things that we saved already, because we used the coupons that we had from our grocery store, the digital coupons that we have in the grocery store app, the coupons that they send us in the mail. Kroger is so great about this. They actually will send you coupons for things that you get regularly. So literally this coupon book that we just got in the mail, there's only one thing in here. You can see we already took one. There's only one thing in here that we don't consume, and it's because it's a baby item for like a teething baby, which we don't have yet. And so we literally will be able to use every single one of these coupons. So when I say shop the sales, I mean, look at their weekly deals, look at their coupons that they're giving you, look at the specials that they have going on right now, look at digital coupons, and then make your meal plan based on coupons that you have. So last week when we shopped, we did it based on the coupons that we had in the digital deals and the fact that we got 5 times fuel points. So in addition to saving about $72 on the shop itself, we saved an additional 20 something dollars off of fuel because of the fuel points that we got. So be strategic. Now, I am not an extreme couponer. I do not buy 7 copies of the same newspaper and go to 5 different stores because at that store I can use these 2 coupons and at that, no. Okay, your time and your gas are also valuable, right? So don't go to 5 different stores. Pick the store that you feel like you get the most value from. And that's why we're rewards members with Kroger, because we get all the additional fuel points and we can get our fuel there. And we also get coupons that we will use. So here's an example. In this coupon book that they just sent, there's bacon, there is chicken, and we could get chicken breast or chicken thighs. It's just basically Simple Truth chicken, saving $1.50 off of that, which these days, man, chicken and beef prices are crazy. There is ground beef, but this coupon's good until the end of March. So because we know we have so much ground beef in the freezer, probably won't buy that until right before this coupon's about to expire. There's some snacking tomatoes, which is great. I'm like, hey, let's have a day where we just have like a veggie tray out and we have like a charcuterie board or something, and we can get some tomatoes for that. So we plan ahead, right? We're going to do that on Saturday. There's Vital Farms eggs, which is the kind of eggs we prefer. We know eggs are super pricey right now, so saving $1 on eggs would be really nice. There's my daughter's granola bars that she likes, so definitely saving money off of those. And it's fun. There's like examples in here. So we would come in here and we would say, you know what, we can get $1.50 off of a pound of chicken. Let's go ahead and get maybe some drumsticks, and we can make barbecue chicken on the grill, right? So we're going to plan ahead for what our meals are for that week. There's bacon and eggs. Hey, let's plan to have a nice, really great breakfast on Saturday, or we could have breakfast for dinner, right? And make bacon and eggs for dinner one night because we have the coupons for it. So when I say shop the sales, I mean, look and see, what do you have coupons for? What can you get on sale this week? And then use that to create your meal plan, right? Does that make sense? Use the store rewards, the digital coupons, the deals, whatever's going on to decide what you're going to eat that week. Rather than going, oh, we're going to have spaghetti this week, but the spaghetti sauce, the pasta, and the meat, the ground beef, none of it's on sale, right? Instead, you look and go, oh, the chicken is on sale. Let's have chicken, right? I can get a pork tenderloin for $2 off. Let's do a pork tenderloin this week. I've got all these vegetables already. Let's do that this week. And so that's how we created our $0 budget this week, or $0 grocery budget this week, is we used what we already had. And last week we saved, between groceries and fuel points, like 85, 90 something dollars by shopping the sales, using that strategically. Does that make sense? And then the last tip, this is the big tip, and I've already alluded to this a million times. Freeze your leftovers. freeze your leftovers. That is what we use. I'm like, where'd they go? That is what we use these for. We actually made beef stew a couple weeks ago, like a beef and vegetable stew. And we froze a couple of big servings and a couple of single servings in the 1 cup size. And then we vacuum sealed those little bricks of stew. And so literally we could take this vacuum sealed bag that has frozen beef stew in it, and you could just microwave it, or you could boil it. We'll boil it in boiling water sometimes to heat it back up, or you can literally take the brick out frozen and put it in the pan and heat it up that way. And that is a quick, simple, free meal that you'll have far into the future. Typically, these frozen meals, if you vacuum seal them, they're good for 3 to 6 months. If you just put them in like a random Ziploc bag or leave them in the tray, I'm talking about maybe 3 or 4 weeks. But again, why I like my vacuum sealer, because it's going to last longer. And so we are actually about to have a baby. And so for the week we just brought baby home, we have dozens of frozen and vacuum sealed meals that are already pre-prepared and just need to be heated up in the freezer waiting for us, right? And so again, $0 weeks for our grocery budget. So those are some of my favorite grocery budget hacks. If you've got some, please feel free to share within the community, because that's why we share tips and tricks together, because it makes us all better and it gives us all better things that we can do to keep our grocery budget down. Because I will tell you, food and grocery budget tends to be the one that most people bust their budget on, because either they're not planning ahead or they're not being strategic with it. So those are some of my favorite hacks. I hope that was super helpful for you guys. And again, please feel free to share your own tips and tricks with the community.